Hey, once again, the dungeon is my theme. They offer decent reward and nice challenge. Of course I talk about group versions. But sometimes, without the proper specific gear, bad stuff may happen. You know, skip builds. There are many of them. Usually, they revolve around high mobility and invisibility. But is there a way to skip an entire dungeon without killing a single mob, but still be able to open the chest? Of course, if such way exists, it would significantly increase the farming rate. Let's find out. You may ask, why even do that? You see, if you do the technique correctly, you may save some time, even if you have to kill enemies later on. It lowers the risk of you being spotted within the dungeon, and it allows you to scout the floor, because maybe the entire floor has nothing worth grinding for, and even if someone dives you, they end up running through the mobs towards you, which could help you, as they potentially could be at low health. There are multiple ways to skip dungeons. You can literally run past the mobs, try to go around, or simply use invisibility. If you try the first method, you probably ended up in a similar scenario. The second option is not always available. But what about the third option? Does it work? There are multiple different tools. With that variety, I'm sure something can help us skip at least one enemy, right? To really experiment with these items, we have to refer to the basics of dungeon skipping, the threshold when the chest can no longer be opened. You see, the chest is not locked immediately if you skip just one mob. Instead, the number is set to 5. So, if there are 5 or less, the chest will open just fine. This is true for solo, group, and raid dungeon too. Of course, this topic is a little bit harder when it comes to different mobs, but just to be sure, let's stick to the 5. I started with tenacity shoes, as these are pretty hard to use in terms of skipping, but still potentially could be used in tight spots. So here I use my shoes next to the mob, and as you can see, mob is not affected in any way. Now I take on the boss, and as seen the chest is locked. But once the knight is dead, the chest is unlocked immediately, so tenacity goes off the list. The next tool is the undead cape. Activating cape with 2 mobs on the right, and skipping the rest. Trying the chest? Locked. We just kill the mobs, and it is open. So, there is pretty similar thing. The reason is, no matter what abilities Albion gets, as long as you stay in mob's potential aggro range, it automatically counts. But you don't even see it with invisibility, and the worst thing, it aggroes the mobs around. See the Hellion Hood test. Does it mean there's nothing you can do but kill or go around? There is something. It is really situational, but it is there. Cleric sandals. Blink. With this ability, you can skip some of the packs. It is not always available, but it is there. You can save a few minutes. Of course, there are a few other abilities that can blink as well. These are Frost Nova, Delay Teleport, Raging Blink, and Arcane's Blink. As I mentioned earlier, some mobs may or may not count while still being exactly the same mobs. Just look at the skeletons. What is the difference between these packs? If you saw in one of my previous videos, the Mystery of Shaman's Chest, the shrines that surround the boss are also mobs. Unless you kill everything you touch, the chest will not open. And now, the most strange thing of all from the list. Look as I skip the mobs, use invis to lose aggro, and finish the skeletons. Kill the boss. What's going on here? Did I miscount an extra mob or two? No, this is a bug, and I call it a shadow aggro. When you activate the boss has increased aggro range, sure, but for some reason, it also has a shadow aggro range, which is much bigger, and is not visible, so unless you know about that, you'll have no idea what's going on. So apparently, this group is now also a part of mob's life variable. There. Here's some more examples of that. At first, I thought maybe the mob's shadow aggro when the boss dies? So I pulled the boss closer to the minions, and didn't work. It only applies the moment the boss activated. Actually, no. I take my words back. The most cryptic of all is Morgana Animated Tomes bug. This is the bug I encounter pretty often, and it's quite annoying. What have we learned? The maximum amount of mobs you can skip per floor is 5. None of the invisibility or aggro immunity works in terms of skipping to open the chest quick, because when skipping you still go through their activation area, and if you do so, mob stays active until you kill it. Sometimes lesser mobs may not count, but it is not always the case 100%, so just kill them. And still, I wouldn't skip solo dungeons because it is much faster to just smash everything on sight rather than trying to go around things, unless you have really a weak weapon. Of course, in group and raid dungeons, it actually helps save some time, as mobs generally take much more hits. Hope I answered all the questions people could have about invisibility, skipping, and chest opening. So, thanks for watching, and stay tuned.